What's up, YouTube? Dontavious here, three-time Team USA high jumper, five-time NCAA All-American, currently ranked as one of the top 30 high jumpers on the planet. And today we're going to be talking about having a shallow versus a sharp curve, right? So, like I said, guys, my name is Dontavious Hill. I've been high jumping for 10 or 11 years now coaching high school athletes, and my athletes have went anywhere between jumping 6 feet to 6'7" in over a year's period, from 6'6" to 6'8" in 3 weeks, from 5'11" to 6'5" in 12 weeks. All of the above, you name it, my athletes have achieved it in very short periods of time when you're talking about increasing their high jump performance, right? So yeah, when you're talking about a shallow versus a sharp curve, this is the analogy that we're going to kind of work through today. So right now, I pretty much have two different types of curves drawn here. One of these, we're going to kind of consider this like a football analogy. So one of these is a post route right here. So this is our post. Boom. I'm just going to call it post. This is a curl. So in football, wide receivers run two different types of routes. We got a post route, we got a curl route. Now I want you to understand that a lot of high jumpers run these two types of routes basically in their approach, right? So our high jumpers that run the post route, they usually get a different kind of result than a high jumper who runs more of a curve, right? And I'm gonna draw this curve more like a high jump approach curve. That's what we want it to be, right? But in football, they would kind of turn around right here to catch the ball, right? So when we're thinking high jump, right, and we think about the different kind of result that we're going to get here, first we got to understand, right, why do a lot of young high jumpers and most high jumpers run more of a post? So first off, it starts off with the fact that they just don't understand the proper way to run and approach overall, right? When it comes to high jump, most athletes feel as though, I have a time when I'm going to run straight ahead. Then I have a time when I'm going to run sideways to the bar. That is not it at all. As a high jumper, you want to understand that you're going to be pushing out the back and, driving straight ahead during the straight of the approach. But when it comes to the actual curve, this takes a specific type of work as well. This is not just an opportunity for us to just run toward the bar. I see too many times our athletes are just getting out of their straight and they run straight toward the bar. You got to dig, right? You got to work your way down this curve and get down in here. And to draw us a high jump pit to show you even better, so this is our high jump pit. We're going to put it at the top. Boom. High jump pit, post route, curl route. AKA sharp versus, I don't want to say shallow, but sharp versus more of a shallow curve, meaning you get down more into the curve. So when you come here, right, and you run an approach like number one, what this does is this prevents your body from getting into a position that's going to rotate, right? That's going to rotate over the bar or rotate over the bar. Because the importance of the high jump, the angle that we run is going to cause our body to start develop this type of, angular rotation / momentum coming around in a circle as we're coming around this turn. But if we just kind of run and we just kind of go like this and go that way, we're going to go straight into the bar. And I'm sure you guys have probably seen when high jumpers, they go up over the bar and they jump, and their legs and their body is still facing the same way that they left the ground. It's because they're not getting that rotation which some of that is caused, well, a lot of it is caused through the direction and the way that you run your curve. Are you sharp or are you shallow? And if you're sharp, you want to get to shallow, right? So when we think about what we have to change in our mind is we have to understand that the way that we run our curve matters. The way that we run our curve matters. So it's no longer, let's go number one and let's get straight into running towards this pit. We now have to think to ourselves, how can we work this curve and get down and around this curve so that we can actually put ourselves in a better position to jump, right? And to explain it again in a different way, when we have our high jump bar right here, and if we have more of a sharp curve, and this is our athlete, if his curve is sharp, when he takes off and he goes, he's gonna more go in this direction just because of the way that he's running his curve. So he's gonna probably meet the bar a bit earlier than what he would be, just because he's not putting his body in more of a position to go more to fight that direction going this way. So what usually happens is these jumpers usually knock the bar down earlier. When the bar goes up high, they're knocking it down before they even leave the ground, all that kind of stuff. On the other hand, when you have a high jumper who runs more of a shallow curve, or a curve that actually gets around, that's more circular versus the post route, they have more opportunity to attack vertical and go up. And that's our entire goal in the high jump. The entire goal that we're trying to achieve in the high jump is to make sure we're fighting all of the horizontal momentum that's trying to take us into the pit, and we want to convert it upwards. That's our entire goal. We want to fight all of our horizontal momentum going into the pit and convert it upwards. And the way that you run your curve, or the way that you run your entire approach, is going to directly play into the fact of how high you're going to jump, what direction you're going to jump, where you're going to go when you leave the ground. All of that plays into each other. All right? So from this point, understand, right? Every athlete is different. So some athletes have to work on their curve, or some athletes have to work more on entering the curve to actually find that positioning that they're actually trying to get. You're talking about running a solid approach that's not too sharp or not too shallow. Everyone has to find their own version of a comfortable curve, right? It's exactly what I teach my athletes inside of my program, the High Jump Blueprint, right? So the way it works is we hone in and find what your athlete truly needs to focus on, and we focus on that area to help them improve, right? So the way it works is, let's say your athlete is struggling in a high jump with different aspects of the sport. Let's say they struggle with mindset. Let's say they struggle with some technical things. Since today's topic is the approach and the way to run the approach, let's say they struggle with the approach. And let's just say they're just not very strong, right? They need some weight training, right? Okay. So what we do in the High Jump Blueprint program is we tackle where they need the most help at, where they need the most support at, and we try and see where we can get them better, right? So in my program, we tackle mindset. We tackle the technical things in the high jump, from all the different drills they should be doing to improve. And we also get them training so that they can actually get stronger and become a better athlete altogether, right? And when we do all three of these things, all three of these are what eventually lead our athletes to get recruited, right? That's what eventually gets our athletes to get recruited, right? So our entire goal is to hone in on where we need the most support or where we need the most help, right? And in today's case, if we're talking approach, if your athlete really struggles in the approach, then we will really focus here, right? And that's not to say we neglect mindset, approach, and training. We're going to tackle all three of these things. Our goal is for your athlete to improve in every facet or every way that they can to become a better athlete, to get themselves closer to jumping personal best, or to, getting a scholarship eventually, right? So if you're the parent of a high school high jumper, right, and you want them to develop their mindset in the sport, be more confident, and eventually jump personal records, qualify or win state championships, or eventually get a college scholarship, then book a call with me down below where we'll walk through where your high jumper is right now, where they want to get to. And if I feel like I can help you guys out, I'll walk you through my entire high jump blueprint coaching process and see what we can do to actually get them to their goals, right? And if you're an athlete watching this video, make sure to get this video to your parents so they can book a call in on your behalf, and we can have all of you guys on the call so we can get you to your goals. But thank you.